Welcome, Patreon All Access members. Now it's time to look into this little turkey here. It's time to see what exactly pile of poo's inside of this little goofball machine. So again, you get your electrical plug that goes in here, and then this light comes on. There's no on and off switch. There's no in plates, no out plates. And they have this tube, which after examining it, this is a cheap little brass tube that you get in a hobby shop, that they have all these tubes for construction of airplanes and other things. So that's what that is right there. And of course, you've just got that plug that's in there, and the light flashes like this, meaning that it's, quote, on, whatever that means. Now, supposedly some energy is coming out of here, their toxic orgone. But let's check this yet again. Let's see if there's any change in the energy field on this unit. Is this energy coming out of here positive or negative? And you can see very strong negative here. It's even more on than it is when it's off. So you've got this negative left-handed spin. Look at that. You rarely see that much negativity. And let's check the front of the barrel here. Is this energy positive or negative? See if we can pick that up by itself. Let me hold that up a little. Of course, not as much energy, hardly any energy is coming out of here, but what is coming out of here is, you can see, counterclockwise yet again. But it shows you the whole theory of something coming out here isn't working too good either. So we still got that huge increase negative spin on this unit when it's on. So we're going to take a look at the inside of this. Let me unplug it before I throw this in the trash. Okay, so I've taken the screws out from the bottom of this. They have 4 screws here, as you can see. And then this just pops right off. I'm not sure what this crap is in here, but let's take a look at the inside plate here. Now, first of all, you can see that this brass tube is sunk into about here. And this is the Orgonite, which is basically this dark color here, which ought to tell you something about it as well. So God knows what garbage is in there to toxify and hurt people, because that's their whole plan. Certainly, there's not all those other things in there that they talk about in his so-called recipe. But who knows what's in that goop. But hardly any energy is coming out of here anyway. You can see he has wires that are sunk into this here. They're not connected to anything. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like... let me check that close here. Doesn't seem like any of the wires from here are connected around that actual tube, but it's hard to say. I may mess with it after we look at this to see if actually there is... that is the case, but it really doesn't matter. But the wires then go into 2 different areas on the main plate. And let's pull that out here and take a look at it. Basically, everything's connected. The panel is connected to, let's see, so you have this panel. It's connected in over here, and it goes over to here. This is a resistor, and this is a capacitor. So this modifies flow of energy. This stores it so that it can release it at a certain electricity or energy. So we've got one of them going into capacitor here. And where does that capacitor go? I'm not even sure that's even connected to the main plate, but it may be. It's hard to tell there. Again, I'm going to go in there and scrape some of that stuff off so we can see what's going on there. So one wire is going from this Orgonite toxin going into a capacitor, and then this one is going into the what appears to be the main board here. So what you're doing is taking non-electric, Hertzian energy and putting it into Hertz. That doesn't make much sense unless you're doing. So there isn't an amplifier here per se either. These are actual capacitors. They're storing energy. I don't think any of this is an actual. And let's get in here so we can look at all those people that like to know what's in things and the details of it. And I like to give people that in case they want to reproduce something. Let's see if we can get the actual numbers on a lot of this stuff. And I'll go over that as well. So you got another resistor here. You got 3 capacitors. I'm not sure what these things are. I'm not sure what these things are here, these little chips. Not sure what this does. There's another thing here. A lot of these things are just basic functioning for the light and doing other things. Not sure what this, all this stuff is. And of course, your electricity goes in. It goes into the plate here. Which is kind of interesting. Not in terms of its function, but the electricity is going in here. But to power the light, we've got to get something over here, which doesn't even seem to be connected that way, which is interesting. The light is connected onto this strip here, but the power cords don't seem to be even going there. That's a little bizarre, but there must be some sort of connection that they're making so the electricity gets over here so this light flashes. And we'll go over the numbers and everything else there. I'm going to cut these little cords off here so I can handle this a little better. And we can go from there. But that's the whole idea. The whole idea is this orgone toxic energy is being fed into the main plate there. And what is coming out here or being drawn into the circuit, however they're trying to figure that out, but certainly very little is coming out of here. And a lot of the contention is that this may not be an outward plug. It's a drawing in of orgone that is being drawn in and then going into the plate. And then what is happening? So it's doing what? Where's the energy going out? If this is an out tube, then very little of it is doing any of that job of doing that. And you're supposed to place stuff in front of this. So, and we'll take a look at here with all this stuff. But, I mean, there's not much to ascertain from the actual goop in here because there's no way of telling what's in that goop. Let's see if we can pull this puppy out. If I can pull the tube out. And again, I'm not sure if that's looks like it's brass, but it could actually just be a stainless steel. Could be just a stainless steel tube here. Let's see what the it's hard to do this and show you on film. Trying to see if there was actually some sort of connection to the orgone filth, whatever the crap is in there. some more light in here. Turn that up a wee bit. Yeah, I initially thought this was brass, but it may not be at all. It looks like it's more just metal. It doesn't appear anything was, it doesn't appear that this was in any way wires wrapped around it or anything else. The wires are going from the major part of this going into the circuit, but it doesn't seem like it was wrapped around the tube for any reason. Again, moving energy that way. So the tube, I've heard that these things draw energy in, but this is Orgonite, which is supposed to accumulate, and it may be this tube helps it. Kind of idiot technology there. And that is then flowing into. Now, it could be the fact that this is the outward, because you're supposed to put things in front of this tube. Your picture other things, so the energies are supposed to go that way. So the circuit is supposed to accumulate orgone and then shoot it out the front. I think that's the idea to it, by using this goop. And let's test that again. Is this goop... let's see how that looks there. Is this goop... is this energy good or bad? So again, we're getting a negative energy from that goop. Not all that strong, but you are getting it. And we can also test this circuit just the way it is. Does this circuit put out good positive energy or negative energy? And here we go again, negative energy. Well, that fits. Not very surprising. So let's look at this again more close up. Again, of course, and we can just cut that off to make it more easy to handle. You've got these wires that go to the light. And then these wires, which are the electrical wires that send, so we can get rid of this plate to look at it better. This is where the electricity comes in, which is right here. Right here it comes in. But that is not connected to the rest of this. So I'm trying to figure out how the electricity gets over to here to light the light. So it's a little bit odd there, but maybe I'm missing something. I'm not a big electrical person. I know the basics. As I said, these are capacitors. Let me look at this and find out the actual code on here. And let's see if we can get that close enough so you can read it as well. There we go. So that is a H21 OMJ, it appears. Capacitor. And of course, resistors are labeled by their colors. So check out the resistor. Let me see if I can get that. You go by these color stripes on here of the type of resistor it is. You could pause this if you're trying to get the exact ones. Well, you can see the colors pretty clear there. And again, there's the other resistor with the colors on it. And here's another capacitor. Let me see what it says on there. Hard to read these things, it's so small. Looks like HO10. Let's get in there. Maybe the camera can see it better. There we go. That should be pretty clear. HO110. And connected to, there's a resistor over here, a small one again. You can check out the color coding on there. And here's another resistor. I'm not sure what these panels are, if we can find any. There we go. There's some lettering on there. Get some bright light in here. Maybe we can see it a little better. So I hope everybody could read that. Here's this other little trim pod, or I'm not sure what this is again, this little round thing here. And let me see if we can get in on there, the actual numbers. Let me see. Again, here's a good view of the resistor there next to it. I'm not sure if this is just a, let's show this here. I'm not sure if that's a heat sink or. Of course, all this electric orgone is kind of amusing because there is no such thing. And of course, this is just a negative energy generator. And of course, the company knew this was going to me and could have sent me a bad one as well. But this is what we got, and it puts out crap energy. I wouldn't trust anything from these people. Let's see what this one next to that is. Guess I had it the right way. It's like this. And here's another capacitor. Let's see what the number is on that. H210M. They all seem to be, I guess that's the same as the one over here. The two are the same. And you can see next to this, in between here, is another resistor. And let me see what this actually is. I have it the right way to read that number. HO14 for that particular one here. Assuming this is probably the same thing. Let me check it out, see if I can see it. This little one here says HO. Let's get in there. HO10. You can see the basic design. Now let's look at the back here of how this is all wired together on the circuit board. So basically your power is coming in here. That's kind of odd. Still don't see how that connects to the rest of it. Strange. These two wires are where the orgone is going into, or maybe the energy is being sent out to the orgone, one or the other. But this is the small pattern. This obviously is carrying electricity down through the rest of the circuit here. Let me see if this is connected. I'm assuming that goes there. Yes, this does go into the main circuit here and then flows through everything just as here and then out here. So, so that's actually the back of it. As you see, this capacitor is going into here. This resistor, which has the orgone going into this resistor, is feeding into the main plate to do that. As I said, these are the two wires that went into the orgone that I cut off. So here's the basic plate. Let's make sure everybody has a really good shot of that. You can pause your player. If you want more details of this, I'm going to try and get as close as possible with some of this stuff and move it around. So anybody wants to do research, figure things out, well, that's the plate, and here's the back, and we'll do that again. Get it so everybody sees it. So this is kind of a standard grabbing of energy with capacitors through this gunk, which again, you're grabbing stuff with electrical capacitance based for Hertzian frequencies when you're getting something that has absolutely no Hertzian frequencies at all. So basically this makes no sense. And of course, this never really did anything, period. I mean, this is just a, I'm not sure what frequencies, if any, is here. These generally were basically nothing more than Hertzian frequency generators, particularly the Schumann resonance. Maybe that's what some of these little particular components put out. through the circuit. I mean, basically that's it. But these are holding energy. It serves as kind of a little bit of an amplifier where you're amplifying the energies coming in. This certainly is storing the energies in here. That's what capacitors do. So it's coming in. The orgone is coming in from here. It's being stored in here and then moved through the rest of the circuit. This doesn't make much sense. The orgone is coming in here. It is going underneath here, and I guess that's going to flow it through the rest of the circuit as well. But and these again are storing energies and so forth that go with it. So I mean, again, it makes some basic electrical sense, but this is, you know, the usual what you get if someone who is confused. But the bottom line is, no matter how this is wired, no matter what sense it makes or not, it produces huge, strong negative energies. So let's try that again. We can put all the little components together and we can see again whether this is something, well, we've already tested it, but it's always fun to see it yet again. Let's see how this actually put it on the plate here. Does this produce positive or negative energy? Counterclockwise, and very strong counterclockwise. You don't get these kind of spins very often unless you got something. Look at that. Look at how huge that is. Putting out huge amounts of negative toxic energy as a very, very big. So it's just 100% crapola, and this is actually dangerous. If you use this on yourself or a picture, you're going to be filling yourself with very much toxic energy. Another thing that seems to explain why a lot of people who used his technology I heard back from got sick, they didn't feel good, all the things that happen. I mean, this kind of orgone, or I should say orgonite technology, as I've told people for years, is dangerous. It is just producing negative energy and nothing else. Now, if you want to send that kind of negative energy into your biofield, well, you, of course, are going to pay the price for that, and that's going to affect you. And a lot of people have. There's a long list of people who are Orgonite users who have died. Other people that are sick, and of course, they may not even connect it. I mean, most people bought this thinking this was a legitimate company that was putting out products, and they even advertised their products as being really healthful, of how it strengthened you, and people were using it for martial arts and for weightlifting. Yeah, I guess that's why Wells' wife died at a young age, and why he died at a young age as well. When people are living to their 90s, he didn't make it anywhere near that. He made it into his early 70s, and his wife died even younger. I mean, so where's the miracle healing from everything here? Where's the great zap? It just isn't true. And as I said, there's a long list of people who use this technology and who got sick from it, and many of them died. So, I mean, these things don't happen overnight, but there is a long list of foolish people that get involved with junk technology. And of course, that's exactly what you have here. And as I said, you know, like supplements that a lot of people think are just, supplements either work or they don't. Well, the problem is supplements are not innate. They just are not work or not work. They go into your biological system. They have to go through your kidneys. They have to go through your liver. And they may or may not react with you well. I just read several supplemental reports from people, and people had problems with such simple things as aloe vera and ginger, which are tried and true healing things. So, you know, these things affect everybody differently. You have to be careful. And don't think because these are, well, this really isn't subtle energies. This really isn't frequencies. This is a bunch of junk, a toxic energy created by some toxic substance that they put in there. So all of that adds up to the fact that don't think that getting these devices, it doesn't work, so what, or maybe you're pissed off. The bottom line is you have to be careful. And again, let's look at this. This is just a little tube. It looks like this is all basically turn this off here.
They really can't.
Oops. It's hard to say whether this is brass. It's hard to say whether this is brass or just stainless steel or whatever, but these kind of things that he put on all his devices, I'm assuming energy was supposed to be accumulated in there, but it doesn't make sense it's going to accumulate. This is supposed to be what accumulates the orgonite, and then it shoots out supposedly. But how that would be amplified and how that would be done, we don't know. It appears that this energy is going into this circuit, but then how does it get out of there? And as you said, there's no in plate, there's no out plate. So how do you send that energy? So from what I understood in the operation of this is that the energy would come out of here and you would place your photograph in the front there and you would be sending that kind of energy. It's really goofball designed. The circuit doesn't make any sense that way. And secondly, you're just generating energy that you're shooting at something which is undefined. So it's supposed to be kind of a general amplifying energy. There's just a lot better. Orgone's a dirty energy. You want to use things like tachyons, neutrinos, and so many other accumulative energies that are out there. Not something that accumulates low-level energies, what orgone does. I mean, Wilhelm Reich was a sex maniac. He named orgone after orgasm. This was a guy possessed by sexuality and involved heavily in it. He also didn't live very long either. Now, a lot of people are under the aspects because he died in prison, but he was in his 60s. Was he killed, murdered? Who knows? I frankly doubt that was the case. I don't think he was probably very well, and I think his orgone didn't strengthen what he did. I do find orgone fascinating. Wilhelm Reich's orgone would be nice if we could control the weather, where we could make it rain or stop raining. Apparently, this kind of technology did work from the reports about it, and there were reports confirming that it rained when he put his machines up. And of course, the dumb bunker idiots, the stooges that are out there, the clown college graduates, their answer was, well, it had to rain sometime. It was just a coincidence. Well, that's ridiculous. So, but did it do anything? And we got to remember that orgone, the way it was accumulated, was not what we've been told. People say that, and I've been stating it for years, that it was steel wool and wool. Well, it's not true. Wilhelm Reich used a mineralized type of with the steel wool, he used a mineralized layer. So there's a bunch of minerals in there. Now, that makes a lot more sense that you are kind of condensing using minerals to draw things in that then are transferred into you. So, again, hardly anybody knows what's going on. But if you're going to accumulate energies from a very toxic, polluted, nuked atmosphere, you're insane. You can't use low-level energies like that. Now, maybe we could use it to rain. Maybe we can use it to cloud busting, getting rid of clouds and clearing the skies. Well, maybe it has good for that. But bringing it into the human bio condition doesn't make any sense at all. And, of course, like everything, we need more research, which is never done. And some people do research. I believe there was a guy named Constable who did some orgone cloud busting research. I believe he was an Australian who is now dead. But this goes nowhere, and none of this in itself is ever proven, or is there effective technology or funding. People research this on their own. They report it. They die, and it goes into the trash can of thinking that life is all about. So it's really sad, but that's the way the world is. And if you want to build garbage like Elon Blofeld Musk does, electric cars are so good. They explode. They're crap. Oh, yes. Well, you'll get lots of funding from the stupid idiot public who somehow thinks this is. And these huge amount of wealthy people, the 10 percent or so that can afford these cars, but there are millions of these people that have that, and people are going out and buying these electric trash cars that are hard to drive very far, that batteries are limited when it's hot or cold, and of course there's not enough charging stations, so there has been waits as long as 10 hours to get to a charging station in popular places like Barstow, California, the stop before Las Vegas. So let's turn that in. I got 12 hours I don't need, Margaret. Why don't you fill up the gasoline car? You'll be out in 5 minutes. I'm going to be here for 12. Thank you, Blofeld. So this is the kind of nonsense that you run into and what goes out there. And instead of trying to perfect a real technology called hydrogen and having fuel cell batteries that produce their own energy, we got to use toxic garbage, and there isn't enough of it. So there's heavy metals that go into these batteries that are very toxic and obtained through slave labor. Is a filthy way of doing anything, but that fits the society and their heroes like Blofeld. So the whole idea is that we need to get past that. And of course, when you're dealing with technologies like that, just don't think, oh, well, I didn't get results or whatever. Look at your life and how it's falling apart. Look at your health, how it's falling apart. And don't think that it isn't something that you don't have in your home. It could very well be. If you have crap technology from multiple people, it is not just inane. And it's not the fact that it either works or doesn't work. It could be producing horrible, horrible toxic energies, which can kill you. Hopefully it's been informative. Watch for more. We've got lots more opening the crap and looking at it. Ooh, I love this.